After a quick break from the video episodes, welcome back down to Ice Level. As always, I'm your host, James Blennau. We are well into playoff time for all 6 conferences across the NCAA as Selection Sunday looms this weekend. Let's get into the action from the AHA to the NCHC. Pro hockey contracts are firing off, and highlights from this week include Boston University's Cole Hudson with the Washington Capitals, Minnesota's Brody Lamb with the New York Rangers, and St. Cloud State's Tyson Gross with the Calgary Flames. Hudson, a dynamic playmaking defenseman, will help the Capitals replace production from stalwart John Carlson after he was traded to Anaheim. Lamb joins a Rangers team looking for a new identity in its forward core, while Gross joins a young group looking to break out in the coming years in Calgary. Other signings from this week include Luke Mittelstadt with the Montreal Canadiens and Gustav Sternberg with the Colorado Avalanche. Alaska wins the inaugural United College Hockey Cup with a 4-3 overtime win over Lindenwood. The tournament featured college hockey's 5 independent teams, including besides those 2 LIU, Stonehill, and Alaska Anchorage. And the Nooks held off a comeback in the late third period from the Lions as Chase Defoe ended it in the extra frame. While the tournament doesn't grant an auto bid to the NCAA tournament, it can help independent squads gain competition for an NPI Rankings boost. Nothing has been released on a second tournament next season. 4 teams remain in the NCAA Women's Hockey Championship this weekend as the Frozen Four takes place at Penn State's Pagula Ice Arena. Top-seeded Ohio State, led by gold medalist Joy Dunn, takes on 5th seed Northeastern, while Wisconsin, led by gold medalists Caroline Harvey and Layla Edwards, takes on the hosts, 3-seeded Penn State. Round 1 starts Friday, with the championship coming Sunday at 4 p.m. Bentley is headed for a repeat AHA tournament title as it hosts the championship game this weekend in Waltham against Sacred Heart. The Falcons handled Holy Cross 4-0 at home this weekend in the semifinals Game 2 after an overtime win in Game 1, with Owen Goodbrand scoring twice for the team's second straight postseason win over the Crusaders. Lucas Sweden showed shades of former goaltender Connor Hasley, saving all 23 shots he faced in the game. The win will send Bentley to the NCAA tournament for the second time ever, 2 years in a row. Let's see how the other side of the bracket shaped up. Sacred Heart survives Robert Morris in a 3-game series on the other side of the bracket, looking for its first ever conference championship trophy in Division I. It's a 1-game series in Massachusetts for Bentley to defend its title and Sacred Heart to look to make history. Over in the Big Ten, Ohio State is headed to a second straight Big Ten championship game after beating Michigan State yet again. Felix Caron scored the game winner just a few minutes into overtime to send the Buckeyes into Ann Arbor as they face arch rivals Michigan. Goaltender Christopher Eberle saved 36 shots from the Spartans' offense. Jake Carabella also scored and picked up 2 assists in the win. The game takes place Saturday at 8 p.m. and Yost Ice Arena will be rocking. Let's check out the rest of the bracket. Michigan holding one of the most dynamic offenses in the country in Penn State to just 2 goals across the game, scoring 1 more against their goaltender and adding 2 more on the empty net for a 5-2 win. The Wolverines look for another Big Ten championship trophy. They've won quite a few already. Ohio State looking for a massive upset for a tournament appearance right now. We'll see how this one goes. In the CCHA, Minnesota State is out for blood in the Mason Cup playoffs, beating Michigan Tech 7-2 in Mankato. The Mavericks scored the first 4 to set the tone for an offensively dominant performance, scoring 7 on only 12 shots against Owen Bartoskevich. Reed Morich and Tristan Lemire each scored twice. First team All-Namer Luigi Benincasa picked up a goal and an assist, and Alex Tracy saved 23 of 25 shots for the night. The Mavericks now take on in-state rivals St. Thomas this weekend. Let's check out how they all got here. Tommy's taken down the best Augustana team yet, looking for their first ever NCAA tournament appearance and Mason Cup win on Saturday in Mankato. The Mavericks looking to continue their dominant run in the CCHA postseason from the past decade. In ECAC hockey, break out the brooms, but not for the Bobcats. Clarkson headed into Hamden as the 8th seed and swept top-seeded Quinnipiac. Friday the 13th seemed to put a hex on the Bobcats' offense, shut out by Shane Soderwall for a 3-0 win in Game 1. The Golden Knights only allowed 7 shots on goal through the first 2 periods. Game 2 saw the Bobcats jump to a 3-1 lead late, but 2 shorthanded goals to tie from Sean O'Donnell and Matthew Mayich set the stage for Eric Bargaltz's game winner in the third. The Golden Knights head to Lake Placid for the second straight season, meeting Dartmouth in the semifinals. On the other side of the bracket, it's some Ivy League rivals as Cornell takes on Princeton. The Big Red taken to 3 games by their Ivy League rivals, Harvard and Princeton, upsetting the ranked Union team in 2 games in New Jersey. Sets up an extremely interesting race for the Whitelaw Cup. Hockey East quarterfinal action. 8-seeded Merrimack visits top-seeded Providence. Let's play hockey. Friars up 1-0 early, but the Warriors on the power play. Nathan King fires one in from the point, and we are tied, headed into the second. A scoreless period, but the Warriors back on the power play in the early third. Noah Flamand tips it in front past Jack Parsons. A 2-1 Merrimack lead, the first lead of the game. Time winding down, and John Mustard puts a little extra mustard on Roger McQueen's shot, a tip in to tie the game for the Friars. This place is going berserk. And early in overtime, Trevor Hoskin charges down the wing and shoots it off the post and in. The Warriors head to TD Garden for the semifinals. The transfer knocks out the regular season champs with just 1 goal. Merrimack next takes on UMass in the 3 Massachusetts team semifinal. On the other side of the bracket, UConn, moving on from beating BU, takes on another school with Boston in its name. Not in Boston, though, because it's Boston College taking on the Huskies. The Blue Bloods versus the up-and-comers. The Warriors taking on UMass. Friday and Saturday, we'll see our semifinals and finals at TD Garden. In the NCHC, down goes a 3rd regular season champion as Minnesota Duluth marched into Grand Forks and earned a dominant 5-1 win over North Dakota. The Bulldogs had 5 different goal scorers in the win, scoring on only 22 shots on Jan Spunar. Meanwhile, Duluth goaltender Adam Guyon saved 33 of 34 from the Fighting Hawks. Luke Bibby also earned 2 assists in the win as the Bulldogs look for a 4th NCHC tournament title. Let's check out who they'll face and where this weekend. It was a heavyweight bout between the Pioneers and the Broncos in Denver, but it's the home team that moves on to host the Frozen Face-Off Championship this weekend. Denver will play Minnesota Duluth at Magnus Arena on Saturday night with a chance for an auto bid and a huge NPI boost for the NCAA tournament. Speaking of the NPI, our top teams that are in the tournament or on the bubble this week are 1 seeds Michigan, North Dakota, Michigan State, and Western Michigan. Our 2 seeds Denver, Minnesota Duluth, Providence, and Dartmouth. Our 3 seeds Cornell, Penn State, Quinnipiac, and Wisconsin. And our 4 seeds and on the bubble UMass, St. Thomas, UConn, and Augustana. Rounding us out down to 20 with a chance to jump in with a couple of big wins. Minnesota State, Boston College, Ohio State, and Michigan Tech. That's all for Ice Level this week. Be sure to keep up with every single conference around the NCAA this week. Playoffs are always exciting. Come March, we could have some Cinderella stories. We could have some dominant runs. But be sure to stay put in front of your TV or your social medias. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a like or subscribe to our channels. But for now, I'm James Blennau. We're not experts, but it takes fans to grow the game.